Is your Mumbai housing society heading toward redevelopment? Big promises, bigger risks, and decisions that can impact your home and future for years. Before you agree or sign, do you truly understand your rights, the builder's obligations, and hidden clauses? At Housing Circles, we break down redevelopment in simple, practical language, so you can make informed decisions with confidence. Don't rely on rumors. Get clarity. Redevelopment done right starts with knowledge only at Housing Circles.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into one of the single biggest decisions a Mumbai homeowner can make, redevelopment. Now, this can go one of two ways, right? It could be your ticket to a beautiful new home, or it could turn into a total nightmare that leaves you with nothing. We're here to help you understand the difference. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First up, the big dilemma, why this is such a tempting offer in the first place. Then we'll get into the numbers. After that, we'll walk through the official step-by-step process, make sure you know your rights, and point out all the dangerous red flags. And to finish, we'll lay out the path to getting it done right. All right, first up, the redevelopment dilemma, or as I like to think of it, an offer that seems almost too good to be true. So let's get right into it. Why are so many housing societies in Mumbai at this exact crossroads? Well, it's usually this perfect storm of old, crumbling buildings and, that really powerful dream of a brand new, modern home. I mean, just imagine this for a second. Your building is literally falling apart, the repair bills just keep piling up, and then a developer shows up and offers you a brand new, even bigger home for free. What would you do? This is a very real situation for thousands of people, especially senior citizens who just can't afford those massive repair bills. That offer? It feels like a total lifeline. But, and this is a big but, that lifeline can become a trap if you're not careful.
Okay, so this leads to the big question. How on earth can a developer afford to give you a free house? It's not magic, believe me, it's just math. It all boils down to a few key terms that basically act as the economic engine for this whole process.
The first big one is something called FSI, or Floor Space Index. The easiest way to think about this is like the basic currency for building. It's really simple. If you have a 10,000 square foot plot and an FSI of 1, a developer can build, you guessed it, 10,000 square feet of space. That's the starting point for everything. But then there's this other thing called fungible FSI, and you really need to pay attention here. This is an extra 35% of buildable area. And for you, the existing society member, this part is premium free and it is legally yours. It's meant for you, to give you bigger rooms or a balcony. The developer cannot legally sell this part of your entitlement. It belongs to you.
And this brings us to a really common trap. It's all about how your flat is measured. See, you've got MOFA carpet area. That's the actual usable floor space where you can lay a carpet. And then you've got rarer carpet area, which also includes the area covered by the internal walls. So a developer might measure your old place using the smaller MOFA number, but promise your new place using the bigger rarer number. See the trick? It looks like you're getting more, but you're not. Always insist on comparing apples to apples.
Okay, so to stop all this from turning into chaos, the government has laid out a very clear, mandatory step-by-step process. And look, this isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's the law. Every single step is there for a reason, and that reason is to protect you, the homeowner.
So what does that look like? Well, it all starts with at least a quarter of the members asking for redevelopment in writing. Then, you have your first big meeting, a special general meeting to decide if you even want to do this and to hire an architect. That architect then creates a feasibility report. Based on that report, you invite developers to submit bids, and only then do you have a final meeting with a government official right there in the room to actually pick the developer. See how that works? It's a system of checks and balances to put your society in the driver's seat. Now, I want you to remember this number, 75%. This is maybe the single most important figure in this entire process. For those big meetings to be legally valid, 75% of your society's total members have to be physically there. Not a proxy, not a phone call, physically present. If you don't have that quorum, any decision you make is legally null and void.
All right, let's talk about your rights. The law gives you a whole arsenal of them, and knowing what they are, well, it's not optional. Think of it like putting on a full suit of armor before heading into battle. These protections are your best and sometimes your only defense. And your biggest piece of armor is the development agreement. Here are the absolute non-negotiables that have to be in there. A clear timeline, project done in 2, maybe 3 years. A big bank guarantee, 20% of the project cost. A crystal clear mention of the carpet area.
specifying if it's MOFA or RERA, a clause saying the developer can't just sell off the rights. And for every single member, a registered permanent alternate accommodation agreement. That's your personal contract. Oh, and you need to have quarterly reviews built in. This document, it's everything.
And here is the golden rule. The one thing you must never ever forget. Do not vacate your home until all the project approvals are in place and your individual new flat agreement, that PAA we just mentioned, is officially registered with the government. Moving out is the very last thing you do. This makes sure you have legal ownership of your new place before you've given up your old one.
But, even with all these rules, things can still go horribly wrong if you aren't paying attention. The stakes couldn't be higher, and the danger zones are very, very real. A bad choice here can be absolutely devastating.
Listen to this quote. You and the builder are partners. Under the RERA law, if the builder runs, the society pays. This is something most people have no idea about. The law sees your housing society as a co-promoter with the developer. You're not just a customer. In the eyes of the law, you're a business partner. And that has massive implications. Let me show you what I mean with a cautionary tale. So, there was this society, Gorgon Pearl. They partnered with a builder to put up 2 new wings. The deal sounded great, right? One wing was for the original members to get their new homes. The other wing, the builder could sell to new buyers, and the profit from that would pay for the whole project.
Well, the builder collected crores from people who wanted to buy flats in that sale wing. He built a basic skeleton of the building, and then he just disappeared for 10 years. He stopped paying rent to the old members, and he left everyone, new buyers and old residents, completely stranded.
And here's where it gets absolutely terrifying. The case went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the court ruled that because the society was the landowner and a legal co-promoter, they were jointly responsible for refunding the new buyers. They were held liable for the builder's failure. And how much were they on the hook for? A potential liability of 400 crore rupees. Let that number sink in. The 60 families in that society were suddenly facing a debt that ballooned to an astronomical sum. They were at risk of losing their own homes to pay back the money that the builder they had chosen ran off with.
It's a frightening story, but it is such a powerful lesson. It just hammers home how incredibly important it is to be cautious and to do your homework. So, how do you make sure this doesn't happen to you? How do you ensure a safe journey?
Think of this as your shield, your essential precaution checklist. Number 1, appoint your own independent architect and lawyer. They work for you, not the developer. 2, never ever transfer the property conveyance. That means you always own the land. 3, choose a developer based on their track record, not who makes the flashiest offer. And you have to insist on a milestone-based schedule and hold those quarterly review meetings. Finally, make sure the entire selection process is video recorded, just like the law says.
Because at the end of the day, the greatest safeguard you have isn't just a clause in a contract. It's an informed, united, and vigilant membership. The law gives you a rulebook, but unity? Unity is your shield. So the real question isn't just about the developer, it's about your society. Are you ready?
Thank you for watching Housing Circles. If you found this helpful, please like the video, share it with your network, and subscribe for more clear, practical housing insights. Visit us at housingcircles.com. Housing Circles, simplifying housing decisions.